Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Full Throttle Racing Season 8, Week 1 and Race 1. We are here to provide you with the coverage of this Division 2 race on the newly expanded server as we absorb another league together. My name is Webbo. I'm here to help you through tonight's racing. Hello to everybody who has already joined. Hi to Deluan and to AP Mark. We have a new set of drivers. Some familiar names such as Shakes, Avalak, of course, Martin, Jacques, Zero, Too Cool for You, Shane as well, that I have commentated over before, as well as Brad, who has been teammates with Shakes for at least 2 seasons that I've been commentating over. Good to be back. It's great to start a new season. Just ask for your patience because I'm recovering from COVID right now, so I'm going to rest my voice for the first 2 qualifying sessions to make sure I've still got something left for you when it matters at the end of our coverage tonight. So please don't be perturbed, and if you are listening keenly in, remind anyone who asks if there's no comms tonight during Q1 and 2, just remind them what's going on if you wouldn't mind for me. But we also welcome the likes of Arno here in P1 coming out of the pits first, Umer Osman, Uzi, we've got Nick there, Nick Gishan, Pantry Star, Super D, all new to D2 for me this season at least, and hello as well to Gerhard Botta and to Paris Ninja as well. Good to see familiar people in the live chat. Glad that you've been able to make it in time. I will now probably go quiet for a little bit, try and watch the drivers as they complete their laps and make sure we're watching the where it matters, so the eliminating positions of qualifying, but I will probably go quiet until the results screen of each session from now on, so please bear with me. Hi to Sublime Film. Let's have your predictions for the cut-off point for Q1 in the live chat, and I'll touch back with you shortly. So Q1 finishes with Martin on top with a 38.648, slightly beating their Pantry Star on a 38.734. Next up, Nick, Gishan, and then Avalak in a fairly customary fourth place in Division 2, followed by Brad and Shane with Umair and Arno Shakes and Uzi complete the top 10. And then we have Chums, Butts, Zero to Call for You, Super D, and we've eliminated Jacques, despite the fact that we only had 15 starters. The game has chosen to eliminate Jacques. So unfortunately we won't see any more of Jacques. We'll keep our focus on Chums, Butts, Zero and Super D before to make sure that they qualify. And we just got a view there of the floating football field outside the main grandstand that... one of the grandstands there, I'm not sure that that you'd see a great deal of action from that grandstand. It always feels like it's facing the wrong direction for the main traffic. Anyway, as mentioned before, I'm going to go quiet. One thing to note is that new rule change at FTR here is that races will be fully dry to avoid protracted long races, so we won't be expecting any weather events during the coverage, especially tonight here in Singapore, one of the longest races on the calendar. Again, I'll go quiet for this session and try and keep my focus on the drivers who set the fastest times and who are most at risk of bit elimination, and I'll be back with you for the results. it in the Ferrari 75th anniversary overalls. It is 02 who picks up a 38.0. Big step up from his Q1 appearance, with Umair likewise a 38.2. Super D in third on a 38.3, followed by Nick, Avalak, Pantry Star, Brad, Martin, Arno and Shakes. And unfortunately you saw Shane spin out on his final lap there in the final corner, and joins Uzi, Burtz and Chums in the elimination zone. We will go through to our Q3 session, where I will commentate over this time, and I just wanted to refresh my memory on the rules, just to make sure that that I know what we're doing as far as formation lap is concerned. And we are going for a formation lap. Most of the leagues I commentate over have decided to chuck in the formation lap, so I just need to double check on that. No news from the driver chat at this stage, but we'll be looking out for several of these drivers. I think Martin will probably be strong in this one. Hi to Fahim and Hassan, and to Hamza. Thanks for the well wishes from Purna, Vermac, and to everybody else who's joining us. If you haven't already told me who you're here to support, I don't know if Hamza is one of those fans that likes to rag on their friends of Umair here, or if you have a particular favourite, do let me know. If you've got a prediction for pole time and pole sitter, that would be awesome as well. Good to have everybody with me. Just my set of eyes on the race and qualifying, so if you're seeing something that I'm not talking about, do give me a nod and let me know what you're seeing, what you're thinking. Bunyies is waiting for electricity. Yeah, my condolences. Martin has gone for this clownfish helmet. I see popping up all over the place at the moment. Let's hope that fin down the middle doesn't slow him down any. Sergeant Panda, your Season 2 champion, sorry, Division 2 champion from Season 7 joins us, just to say he's here for Super D. And Fahim is Umair and Uzi's dad. Excellent. Okay, we've got brothers, have we? Or siblings at least, racing together here. That's good to see. Not on the same team though. Oh no, they are on the same team, aren't they? Uzi is in McLaren, so that should be interesting. So Fahim, are you going to be engineering for them as well? Let them know what's going on the race. And for that reason, I tend not to use telemetry in the main race unless I have a particular need to go. Fahim says, yeah, they are brothers and they're racing together in McLaren. Sounds good. So the likes of the Schumachers and the Fittipaldis, and now the Osmonds perhaps. Here we go then with Martin on his first lap on Q3, and we'll head down towards the very quick turn 1, shortly followed by turns 2 and 3 in very fast succession. Accidents are plenty into those corners usually, and then a short shoot down towards the turn 4, which is the staging point for the longest straight of the race. Very early DRS release button area on the track. Flat out right hand kink until you brake around the 70-meter mark into turn 7. Now you can ride that curb, and then a very, very slow corner into turn 8. Turn 9, likewise, it actually is faster than it looks, and then you tend to practice it, especially now they've moved that wall away. And we go to the Rolex section now. One of the sections I have personally been able to watch the race from the grandstand. That Rolex section, very nice indeed it is too. Over the Addison Bridge, it's much bumpier than it seems in game before hitting the slowest corner on the track, the hairpin of, get this straight, turn 13. Turn 14 is not too far away, a little stab of DRS as well into the corner. Martin, purple sector, but let's not get too excited about that purple sector. It's only for him in this session. A little bit of a Mickey Mouse piff-paff switchback area before we turn into underneath the grandstand. Difficult to get right every time, especially as the grip drops off through the race and on old tyres. And it's just a dip into 5th gear, hop over the apex, the penultimate corner, flat out again, build the speed, and a 37.4 for Martin early doors. Very, very nice time indeed. next to cross the line, I think, that's going to be Brad. It's a 38.5. And then we have the Red Bull pairing, who have been pretty quick in both sessions already tonight. Avalak, the first of the two of them to cross the line, kept the lap alive so far. And going to cross the line, second place, 38.128. Looks like Nick about to cross the line too. Did he have an issue going into the pits? Is he back into the pits? Yeah, so an invalidated lap from him. Pantry, who is a number of people's pick already tonight, as he goes to cross the line. And up to P3 at 38.203. We have a Tajikistan fan of the Osman boys, Hassan. So welcome, Hassan. You're different to the earlier, yeah, you're different to Hamza. So we've got a Hassan and a Hamza as I scan read. That's difficult, but Tajikistan is definitely one of the farthest flung corners of the world that I've had people watching and enjoying the racing from. Super D goes second on a 37.983, underlining the fact that the track is evolving. 0-2, your Q2 top sitter goes P2 on a 37.7. And it's just left with Shakes and Nick to complete their laps. So the early doors laps with just over 6 minutes to go. Martin 0-2, Super D, Avalak, Pantry Star, Brad, Arno with pretty representative times. All would have had them on the top of the tree in Q1. And then a slow lap there from Umer. I think Umer might have been going for a charge lap. He's some 4.8 seconds faster on his second lap on the soft tyres. Though you can do whatever you like with the soft tyres, of course, now that you don't have to start on those tyres. And from any session of qualifying in the race, free choice of brand new tyres for everybody. Umer then threading the needle through this fiendishly difficult 90-degree corner section. Using that third gear, might see, well, down to second actually. Through this latter stage of the grid. Yellow Singapore section into the Singapore Airlines final two corners, and going across the line for Umer. It will be a fifth place, 38.1. Another good improvement from Umer on the in this session. And we have, as I say, Shakes now starting his next lap. Shakes will fancy his chances at going for the title here. He featured highly in Season 6, Division 2, before being promoted to Division 1, but as I mentioned, we've had an expanded roster due to the merger of another league, and that means that everybody's had to re-evaluate for this. They couldn't carry through their form or their positions, but a purple first sector for Shakes looks pretty healthy at this stage, and turns it round just as I say. The lap is looking healthy. Hi to Riyadh as well. Well, it looks like Umer and Uzi have got their fans with us, apologies if I've mispronounced that. Is it Riyadh rather than pronouncing it as the Saudi capital city? I may have made a mistake there. My apologies. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing anything. I never like to get it wrong. And we'll join Nick then, and hopefully he will keep this lap alive as everybody else is peeling into the pits. And in we go then to that turn 4. Now it's full throttle down the Raffles Boulevard, and David Croft did not tire of saying that, did he, at the weekend. Braking late then into turn 7, riding across that curb. It is a little bit easier to ride that curb than it appeared at the weekend. Nice wide entry, turn 9, into this Rolex section. This is where they have the just behind the grandstand there. That's where they have all the concerts. And if you do get grandstand tickets for the final day, getting to the headlining concerts after the race is a long walk, I have to say, from experience in the sweltering Singapore heat. Nick then powering out of the hairpin. Healthy second sector as well. Should be able to challenge up at the front here. A nice secure run through the final sector. Getting plenty of wide entries into the corner. Short shifting to 4th. Just a small little stretch to go, and up to P3 at 37.8, but no one's coming near Martin's 37.4. He has the lead at this stage, with outlaps starting for Avi, for Pantry, and for Arno. We've got Brad on a lap, it seems. He's just started his next attack lap in the AlphaTauri. Looking to try and get ahead of the last few minute scramble for track position, which would presumably be fairly wise here. AlphaTauri, unfortunately, that's totaled that car for the session. He won't go any faster than 38.5, certainly won't start higher than P8. That is very uncharacteristic for Brad. Very unusual to see him have an issue like that. So we'll ride with Avi while we wait for the laps of 0-2 and Martin to begin as well. Let's see what Avi's first section is. That his first sector time is, though. He'll get it just before the braking zone of turn 7. He is 0.2 to the good, so that gets him into the 37s, but he won't be able to threaten more than just one place unless he can gain some more time. Seeming to be a little bit loose at the front, possibly for Avi, floating its way into the corner. Over the bridge and back onto the brakes again. Really nice turn in and apex for Avi through the hairpin. Difficult turn in there. Turn 14, blind entries. Now we have to artificially slow the cars so that they're not screaming through the stadium section, and with the river on their right hand side. It's usually late corner oversteer that is the end of drivers' laps here, so Avalak goes to the line of 37.636 with just a few seconds to go. I think that will be as fast as he goes tonight. Let's see, what about 0-2, as he's got a purple first sector, and Martin has begun his next lap as well. Where is Martin currently on the circuit? He is invalidated, so we'll focus on 0 as we'll see if he goes. Hassan says if Umed doesn't qualify in the top 3, I will suddenly switch to becoming a Martin fan. Well, Martin is very quick in qualifying, although has in seasons previous been a bit more susceptible to the odd error in race day. So not exactly super consistent. Another purple sector for 0. This is definitely challenging for pole now. He is only 0.3 off the potential pole time. In through the stadium section he goes. Just trying to control that throttle application. Make sure you're hitting all your marks here. He's already to the good. He doesn't need to get too greedy in this final section. And looking to try and get that Ferrari on the pole position. Just the final 2 corners to go. Sprints for the line in 0-2 call. Will this be pole position? It will not be pole position. He lost a whole load of time through that final sector. I'm not quite sure where that was. Super D though has got a purple middle sector and he's nearly 0.4 to the good as he tries to tackle this tricky final sector as well. Possibly 0-2. Getting a little bit greedy in the early part of sector 3. I didn't see much wrong with his final sector. His final mini sector there. So Super D from 5th place for Ferrari. Can he leapfrog his teammate even? Can he challenge for that front row? Yes, indeed he can. Up to P2 at 37.527. And given we've got lots of Umer fans, let's see, 0.7 to the good in through sector 2. This is one hand on pole position, surely. This is the sprint to the line. 0.7 gets in pole position at 37.230. Snatches it at the death of qualifying. You can almost hear his fans, but no, Martin. He stole it back. With only about 0.05 of a second, Martin re-steals on his second lap on the soft tyres. Amazing stuff from Martin. Umer was celebrating and his fans, and unfortunately it was stolen right at the death. So incredible stuff there. Martin, Umer, Super D look to be your top 3 with Avalak in that customary P4. So into the pits we go. Laps laps finished for everybody, but it's Martin who claims the early bragging rights here for his qualifying efforts. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. We're looking for an extra driver to get an infight into the race. Top Gun is trying to appear for us after his, I think his load shedding stole him from us. But yes, for him, very happy to see a front row start for Umer, and he'll be chivying along Uzi from further back to try and get a good result for McLaren and the Osman family, I'm sure. Under the lights of Singapore, Martin shines and takes that pole position. Not for the first time here in Division 2 either. Martin, very used to claiming that one. There he goes. Martin, pole position at 1:37.1, beating Umer by just 0.05 of a second. Super D in third, Avalak in fourth. Then comes 0-2 to complete the top five, followed by Nick, Pantry Star, Brad, Arno, and Shapes in 10th position. And these are the guys who will be challenging for the front of the placings from the outset. Let's see what strategy everybody decides. It's going to be a long night in Singapore for the racing, and hopefully we won't have too many interventions from Mr. Mylander. There's just about time, if you've got other friends who you want to watch the race with, just about time to share on socials and get them involved. I've got a nice, healthy amount of people watching live already, but it's always fun to get the banter going. Remember, a reminder, you can follow me on Twitter at WebORed5, one word. And we'll just wait then for Parc Fermé to be completed, and we'll get to the grid for our formation lap to begin shortly. If you've got questions at all about the league, do fire away. I can't promise to be able to answer them. There's plenty of people in the league who are in the live chat. Must say hello to Typo as well, who I've not seen before and not said hello to or mentioned. Bootnews is hoping for an invite, so Top Gun and Bootnews have a very small window to try and get themselves in. Hopefully they can manage it. Yeah, Typo says it was a close fight for pole, similar to real life, absolutely. So, formation lap on its way for you. I imagine it will be hard medium or medium hard, will be the strategies chosen by the drivers. But Uzi has decided to try and gain positions from the start. That could be a smart decision if we have an early safety car. Uzi has gone for soft tyres from 12th on the grid. So let's take you through then. Top Gun has managed to join us, which is great, as has Royal Viking. So thankfully the load shedding has come to an end for those drivers and they've been able to join us. Top Gun and Royal Viking. We'll start from the back. Top Gun is in the Alpine, I believe. Someone's turned the car around in the formation lap session here. That's a little bit clumsy. Here are your tyre selections as well, of course. So hard tyres for the majority of runners, including the front row, but threatening them will be Super D, Avalak, 0-2 and Pantry, as well as Shakes and Royal Viking. On the mediums, I've already mentioned Uzi. Everybody else then on the hard tyre from the start. So there's Royal Viking in the system Mercedes. Jacques at the tail of the field after a poor Q1 session for Alfa Romeo. We've got Chums starting in 14th for the Haas team, with his teammate up there in 7th. But in the lone Aston Martin, unfortunately, in 13th place. Hopefully we'll have more drivers for you next week. I know there's a full roster waiting to play. Then we've got Shane in 11th place. We saw him just make that error on his exit out of the final corner in Q2. But in 11th, should be threatening a decent race. It will be a race of two halves for the pit stops. We won't know exactly where everybody finishes, where everybody's positioning leaves them until after the last pit stops, when the hard runners have switched to the medium, I imagine. Then comes Shakes in the top 10 on medium tyres in Alpha Tauri this year, with his teammate Brad in 8th. Arno is in 9th place there. Then we've got, as I mentioned before, Pantry Star in 7th on the medium tyres, with Nick ahead of him for Red Bull. Red Bull with a very good qualifying, but not as good as Ferrari, who are 5th and 3rd. We're just finishing off the preparation lap here now for everybody, and we will be ready to go very shortly for you. Martin and Umer share the front row by 500ths of a second. Super D and Avalac behind. Look out to see these guys coming through the field, the medium starters. Look out for Uzi, and most of all, let's see if you can pinpoint any contact in the background. I will be focusing, of course, on the battle at the front, but if you can keep your eye on the back of the screen, that will be mega helpful as well. Well, we're ready for 31 laps of Singapore, hopefully 31 racing laps, fingers crossed, and hope you're all excited for the race. I know there's plenty of good wishes going out to the drivers. Uzi got himself disqualified right in the last couple of metres, as did Arno, but it just means a few degrees of tyre temperature they will lose as a result of that one. So here come the lights. We are 5 lights on, and it's time to drop the clutch. And go, 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 a jump start in the rear for Butts, and he spears off to one side as a slow start from Martin. Umer claims the first position straight away, and the Ferrari of Super D slips around the outside as well. The second Ferrari of 02 fighting with Avalac on the exit out of turn 1. Nice clean start for the front runners, but it is far from easy for those further back. You can see already there, Pantry Star losing 4 places. We've got a battle between Super D right on the tail of Umer for first position. Umer defends to the inside, Avalac defending to the inside as well from Martin and Nick. Nick on the inside line will have a better run as Avalac is trying to force a whole bunch of extra misery on Martin. That is the hard tyre penalty, I think, for Martin, showing to the fore a lack of tyre warm-up, perhaps, and a too quick formation. That was the problem. He was far and away ahead of everybody else on that formation lap, causing himself to sit there and let the tyres get cold towards the end of the sector. We've got triple yellow flags. That will be a VSC at this stage, I think, as Shane has turned the car around there. You can see him trying to do an 18-point turn. Difficult to get the spin turn underway. Shane dropping down. We've got Top Gun up 5 places from his start, but he's not done as well as Royal Viking and the Sister Mercedes. They're up 8 places from his start position. Brad has slipped down 7. We've got Uzi in 4 places down as well. But Royal Viking, the star of the first lap, and we have our first full course caution, and it is a virtual safety car. I'll get no warning at all on Pantry on the restart. The track map will just go bright green, and we will be away. But away from the start, Umer leads from Super D. Then comes Avalac, Martin, Nick in 5th place, 02 Pantry, Royal Viking, Chums, and Shane, your top 10. Mahlatsi says, is this game worth buying? Well, why don't you ask the live chat while we're in this caution period. I should probably even put a poll on here, but I'm not sure exactly how to do it. Anyway, I would say yes, it's worth buying, especially if you haven't plumped for it. First off, oh, a massive accident in the background. There's Royal Viking, all his places gained, dropping down. That was a restart gone very badly. Royal Viking then dropping down the order, no front wing on the car either, and he's left some debris on the circuit as well. It is lots of drama with cold tyres and a nerf from the back from Shane into Chums. The stewards will have words to say about that one as the cars thankfully ghosted. Chums doing a 3-point turn. Unfortunately, he gets nerfed in the back. Shane overestimating how well the car would break, but Top Gun in the Alpine has survived and is up to P8 at this early stage as they do battle at the front of the order, with Umer in first, Super D in second, and Avalac in 3rd position. Six tenths separate the front two. Brad swaps places with Butts in the background. Sasha Panda says, let's go, great start. Well, remind me, Panda, which team are you representing this time round? Mercedes. Okay, so yeah, not the best start for Mercedes from anybody. I think that's a sarcastic comment there from Panda. The front two, Umer and Super D, getting away now from Avalak, who has been promoted up one place to third place. We'll go back to the tyre view so you can get an idea about strategy. DRS has been enabled. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. There's a stopped car. That is Shane with the DNF. Shane with the DNF in the tail of the field. There you see him from the perspective of first Anu and then shortly to be Uzi. Shane has spun the car. We've just got a stationary yellow flag at the moment. I'd be surprised if that doesn't turn into something far more threatening. Anyway, back to the front of the order, and you can see, unfortunately, it's been a bit of a difficult night for Shane. He was one person's pick for some excellent driving tonight. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. Made a mess of Q2 at the end, and unfortunately made a mess of his and Chum's races by having a poor couple of first laps. 51 comments already is very, very good, and as Sasha Panda says, safety car is unreduced. Yeah, let's hope so, because I don't know about you guys, but since the safety car became part of league racing, I have got very, very tired of it, especially around street circuits. Let's have a look at 0-2 in the Ferrari, who is chasing the Red Bull of Nick, and Ferrari having slipped behind Red Bull in the overall. Of course, it's that moment there where Umer unfortunately has had an accident. He's hit the wall in the stadium, going underneath the stadium section at the south corner of the circuit. He goes into the pits. Unfortunately for him, that is hard tyres that he's pitting off really early on. Remember, you only get one set of hard tyres and one set of mediums to use in the race. Martin is back on the ascendancy, back up to P3 from pole, and is trying to find a way past Avalak now that Martin's tyres are up to temperature. A problem there for Umer. He's down to what, 9th position, might fall further afield. He will drop behind Chums, but he'll have some clear air to run in now. Here comes Martin looking for a window, and just behind him 0-2 defending but succeeding to get past, in fact, Nick going into turn 7. So 0-2 makes the move up to 4th place, still keeping those mediums in good shape against the hard tyres of Nick. But Super D is in charge of this race at the moment. Ferrari back on top very quickly, and they are 1st and 4th in your race, and Super D has a bit of a gap as well. You are fighting your own focus and the barriers here in Singapore just as much a threat as the other drivers on the circuit. Very, very tricky racetrack. Anyway, medium tyres, one on board Umet. He'll be able to run those, and then presumably he'll run them and put his original hard set of tyres back on again, as they only did 3 laps, and some of those were during a VSC. So I don't think he will run mediums to the point at which he can use the softs at the end of the race. Further back in the field, let's go run down the order. It's Super D, Avalak, Martin in the Mercedes from pole in 3rd place now, 0-2 in 4th, Nick in 5th. We've got Pantry in 6th place. Moving forward, then comes Top Gun, and there's Top Gun having spun. Lack of track time, lack of rhythm on the circuit, missing out qualifying, of course, due to load shedding, no fault of his own. Promotes Brad up to 7th. Top Gun's got a little bit of a window, but Chums behind him in 9th is closing fast as Top Gun tries to get those tyre temperatures back under order. I think he would do well to just let Chums through and get his tyres up to working order, and indeed that happens. Chums up to P8 then, Top Gun 9th. Umer after running at the top of the grid, and they're knocking his front wing off, I'm assuming turning into or out of turn 18 was where it took place. Umer down to 10th, having pitted once. Then comes Arno, Shakes, Uzi, Butts and Royal Viking are survivors, of 15 survivors on lap 5 of 31. So a little bit of a battle starting as 0-2 has started to close on the back of Martin, who in turn has got DRS on the back of Avalak. Well, occasionally he's just lost it, or might lose it. Let's see, Martin using the DRS currently behind Avalak. Then Nick has joined this little party as well. Panda says he's not racing this season. He's complete neutral. Oh, Panda, what's happened? Has life got in the way of racing by any chance? But yeah, or are you just feeling like you're not going to top last season's championship? Do tell. I've been a bit out of touch. Let us know why you're not defending your position. Shakes and Brad. Uncle T is watching. Uncle Tiago is watching Shakes and Brad, which is great. We've got a lot of family watching racing tonight. I noticed the Osman fans have got a little bit quiet as a result, perhaps, of their demotion at this point, but they will be working hard to bring themselves forward. Maybe Father Osman is busy engineering for his sons at the moment. Ah, fantastic. Panda had a baby panda. Is that a panda cub? Is it panda cub? I think it is. Well, congratulations. Anyway, panda cubs are a very rarity. So congrats to you and your household for that good news. You just need to get a little papoose, and you can have her sleep on your front while you race. Just avoid swearing or a rumble pack too much. Hamza says the Osman fans are here in full force. And Hamza is busy as a hater, apparently. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Well, keep the chat going anyway. 0-2 is within a third of a second the back of Martin, as Martin is still struggling to engage those hard tyres. They will come to the fore shortly, pretty soon, I'm sure. Nick also closing on the back of Pantry Star for 5th place, but we'll keep our focus here on this group at the front. Super D getting away. He's 1.8 seconds in front. Make that 1.9 from Martin 02 and Pantry. Sorry, Avalac Martin at 02 here. Pantry's a little further back there, looking in his mirrors currently at the threat from Nick. So will Martin be able to get close enough to Avalac here, coming out of tricky turn 4? DRS engaged very early. In fact, it might be 0. I don't think the gaps are almost identical. I think Martin needs to be under 0.3 of a second out of that turn in order to make the move stick, or rely on a mistake, misgear or miss DRS engagement from Avalac. Let's try and put the pressure on, but usually the drivers can relax in the middle sector. It's obviously they can focus on where they're putting the car, but in terms of having to defend, there really is only one way to one lane of traffic through this difficult Singapore circuit. Through the hairpin they go. Not much by way of marble pickup you can see on the track at this stage, but believe me, offline it is very, very slippery. So very difficult to stay offline and put off your rival in front. Follow my leader through the next few corners. In fact, if the guy in front has an accident similar to we saw with Usman, so Umer, excuse me, it's very hard not to run into someone else's accident in this tight confines of the street circuit. Now it opens up though at the end of the circuit, just in time to press the DRS once again, but Martin has slipped back from Avalac a little bit, and it's less likely as they head into turn 1 for the 8th time. 31 laps we should be expecting, and so far they have been 31 racing laps. We had a short stint under the VSC. Now Martin is very close indeed. Let's see if he can get a good exit. He can indeed, and Avalac pressing the ERS, I'm sure, to get away from Martin as the speeds equalise. Don't quite get to the point where Martin is going faster, just that additional grip on the medium tyre there for Avalac, but Martin can afford at this stage to run at Avalac's pace. Super D's not getting too far away, and try and conserve those tyres as far as possible. Be in the best shape as you can be when they pit to enter hammer time. As he's driving a Mercedes, we can call it hammer time, right? You want to see the Umer and Uzi's battle? Yeah, let's go and have a look. I don't think these guys are going to get too close, but this one is looking very quick indeed. No problem at all. Let's see if Umer can make up for that error earlier. He's already gained 1 place from when he came out the pits. He's got chums in front now. And then there's some big gaps between Nick in 6th and Brad in 7th, and between Brad and chums in 8th. 14 seconds each, their intervals. And there we go. Exactly the problem of just getting that little bit too close into the hairpin. Umer tags the back of chums. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I guess the new mediums, Umer is not quite used to the braking points of the hard tyres shod chums. And Umer has knocked another end plate off. Now, can he keep this car running? We'll see relative to Top Gun whether he loses too much speed. I think he is going to lose too much speed, and it might even be too early for him to put the hard tyres back on. He hits the wall again. He's trying to even up the front wing end plate situation. Unfortunately, he probably won't thank me for cutting to him at exactly that moment. And back into the pits we go with Umer. A change of strategy once again. Unfortunately, it not really working out